Good evening. It is Monday, February 22nd, 2021, 6 p.m. And this is a meeting of the Community and Economic Development Committee. I am Lynn Smee, the chair of the committee. And to my right is Mr. Bill Twist, and to my left is Mr. Bill Roselle. And we have three items tonight. The first item is considering providing a recommendation to council regarding the recommendation of the Troy Planning Commission that council approves the final record plan of the Redwood Troy Planned Development Residential as conforming to the approved general plan and final development plan. And this is the plan development that is located on McCaig Road between State Route 718 and McCaig Road. Mr. Titterington, do you have further information?
Thank you, Madam Chair. You have the report from the Planning Commission on February 10th. They approved minor changes to the general plan. They also approved the final development plan. Those two are approvals at the Planning Commission level. However, the final record plan, which reflects the changes that were made in the general plan and the final development plan, require council approval. The changes that were made involved reducing the number of buildings by 2, as well as enlarging the main detention, stormwater detention pond area, and adding a small detention area. So they had to go back and design more storm management, and they did that, as well as include the dedication of right-of-way along McCaig Road and 718. Again, the Planning Commission unanimously approved that and recommended the approval of the final record plan. And we are asking you to forward a recommendation to the council. We are not asking for emergency legislation.
Okay. Are there any questions from committee members? Yes, Mr. Cook.
Just clarification. I know everyone loves to complain about the flooding in that area. So with the 2 retention areas, we feel that is suffice to handle that water flow or runoff that's coming into that area.
Yes, the requirement is that anything that comes from upstream onto the property cannot flow through the property any quicker, but must be held back and managed within the in the site, equal to or better than prior to development. And that's why that when they calculated it, they wanted to be conservative, and so they added the retention or detention areas.
Okay.
Any other council members have questions? Mr. Schilling?
Question for Mr. Titterington. In the original plans, McCaig Road was to be on the side of McCaig Road. They were going to be adding sidewalks and curbs, and then also expanding McCaig Road to add a service lane. And I want to make sure that that is still still in the plans.
I don't have the specific plans in front of me. However, what was approved originally with regards to infrastructure improvements are still in the plan.
So they didn't make any changes
They
to
did not
McCaig
make
Road.
any changes to that. The only changes they made were interior. In other words, the number of buildings and the stormwater. Those were the only changes that they made.
Okay, thank you so much.
Any other questions on this item? If not, Mr. Twist?
Move forward, council.
And it's unanimous to move forward with a positive recommendation to council. Our second item this evening is in regards to providing a recommendation to council regarding authorizing the Director of Public Service and Safety to enter into a housing revolving fund administration agreement with the Ohio Development Services Agency regarding the city administering a CHIP program. Mr. Titterington?
Thank you. The CHIP program is the Community Housing Improvement Program. It is a program offered through the Community Development Block Grant federal program. The city previously had been part of the county, and then last year, I believe it was, is when we decided that we wanted to do our own program. We had some eligible projects. You'll see in the report that We will have 4 owner rehab projects and 4 owner home repair projects. The projects are identified through our inspections and through talking to low and moderate income homeowners. The one program is a grant program. The other is a forgivable loan program with the additional string that the loan is forgiven if you live in the house for 5 years after the repairs are done. And we have the opportunity we've been authorized or allocated $283,000. Our staff is trained on doing the inspections required. To consummate this agreement, we do need to sign an agreement with the Ohio Development Services Agency, ODSA. And so we are recommending we're asking that you recommend to the council that they authorize me to sign that agreement. And again, we are not asking for emergency legislation.
All right. Is this a one-time program, or would this be anticipated to?
No, it's an ongoing program. It's allocated either every year or every other year, but it is an annual ongoing, so it's not it's not a one-off.
Right. I mean, we've done it before, but we would now be the ones continuing it.
We would be administering our own program as opposed to being part of the county-wide in the past.
And we're just asking to get our share of funding by this, right?
Yeah, well,
Get into
we
doing
have
it
gotten,
ourselves.
yeah, we are getting our share of the funding.
Yeah. but
This
do it
is just the
ourselves.
agreement to, with ODSA, so that they know that we are the ones that will be administering it. I have no idea what this is.
This is just through
Well,
2021.
the agreement is only a 1-year agreement, so we'll have to come back to you, but the program is ongoing.
I have a quick question. Of the 4, if someone decided they weren't going to do it, do those funds just stay in the CHIP program? Or is that?
At one point, we had a list and could keep going down. I'm not sure if that's, getting the.
We can apply those to another project.
Another eligible one, yes.
And I guess that goes to what I was thinking of too. Is this something where if we maintain this list, people can anticipate that there would be funds in the future to do other projects?
As long as they continue to be eligible and meet the criteria.
But the city is one looking for these projects. Like some could come to us, but some we might.
Yes, both.
And
We will, yeah, we have reached out to property maintenance issues before, and we'll continue to do that.
Any other council members? Anyone in audience? Move forward?
Move forward.
And it's unanimous to move forward. And our third and final item has to do with providing a recommendation to council regarding the recommendation of the Troy Planning Commission that council accepts the dedication of 1.1644 acres of right-of-way, which is the cul-de-sac known as Green Court and part of the north side of West Stanfield Road between South Stanfield Road and Washington Road. Mr. Taylor?
Correct. This would be a new cul-de-sac in an industrially zoned area. You can see from the drawing and what they are asking, what the owner is asking is, and has been approved by the Planning Commission, is the dedication of right-of-way. The right-of-way that would be known as Green Court, which is the cul-de-sac, and then a portion of West Stanfield as well. It's approximately 1.1644 acres. I guess we can say that's not approximate.
Great precise.
Again, it's on the north side of West Stanfield Road and would allow them to do, split up some lots and do some individual industrial developments. And again, we are not asking for emergency legislation.
Any questions on this item? Anyone? All right, and so we want to
Move forward.
Move forward. It's unanimous to move forward on that item. And I don't think we have any other items for this committee.
That's it.
So we are adjourned.
Start stealing, I'm gonna want it.
Oh, so Jeff. Ready?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay.
Mics are hot.
Welcome to this committee meeting of safety and health. Today is Monday, February 22nd. We're looking at 6:14 in the afternoon. Our committee members are to my left, Mr. William Moselle, and to my right, Mr. Jeff Schilling. I am the chair of the Safety and Health Committee. This evening, we have one item in front of us, and that has to do with a pizza call that's coming up right now.
I apologize.
This is to provide a recommendation to council regarding recommending approval of the application to establish a designated outdoor refreshment area known as a DORA. Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to review, back in 2020, we had a long discussion about the DORA. We heard a lot of comments. We had heard a lot of concerns. On February 8th, we held a work session to discuss those prior to us finalizing an application. If you'll recall, in August, once the application is filed, then the council acts on that application, cannot amend it, and start the process over. So this time, we held the work session to discuss the alterations we made, and we made some significant changes from last application and this application. We standardized the hours, we reduced the number of days that the DORA would be in effect, and we clarified and reduced the boundaries around which the DORA would be enclosed. Just some things to note. Mr. Davis, Development Director, had a presentation. I think everybody got a copy of that presentation. I did not think that we needed to go through that presentation again, but I do want to reiterate that we are proposing this as a one-year trial. We would come back to the council. We would monitor it during this year. We would develop a feedback tool for staff as well as the different businesses to use, what to look for, what to measure if they can. If there are measurables, then we will have them measure them and provide us feedback. I meet with the director of Troy Main Street every month. And so as part of our monthly meeting, then we can talk about, just keep an eye on how it's going. The application was filed with the clerk on February 9th. And so we are recommending a positive, hopefully a positive recommendation to the city council with an idea that if all goes well, then the earliest we would start the DORA would be April 15th. That depends on, of course, positive passage by council on the middle of March. Having all the signs and the cups and everything in place, and as well as the education materials, the posters, the flyers, and the stickers, and the earliest that we would start, assuming that it's effective in time and has been authorized by the state by then, is April 15th, which would be the Thursday, which if you look at your packet, which I'm sure you did, the DORA proposed days is Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That would be the proposed first earliest that we would have it. In your packets, as well as I think Mrs. Knight passed out the correspondence that she received in the last few days, or she's about to. As well as I believe we have some things from Main Street. They have some things as well. We had an equipment failure last time, so Salome tells me that this will work this time. But that's what happens when you fill it up. It does actually change colors. There's two versions. We decided we wanted to go with reusable cups to minimize trash. And these cups, then bartenders will be able to see whether there's liquid in them or not. Because as you know, you can't take a door drink from one establishment into another liquor establishment. So it's important for them to be able to tell, especially in busy nights. At the work session, we did have public comments. I believe Mr. Lutz, Mr. Lutz ran that meeting and invited the public to come up and speak for 3 minutes apiece. We did in all of our advertising advertise that tonight being a committee meeting would be available for public comment. Apologize, Mr. Terwilliger, I wasn't able to catch up with you before the meeting, assuming that you wanted to keep that the same. Any questions from the committee or anybody else before public input?
Question concerning the evaluation. Question concerning the evaluation team. Is this a monitoring team that is made up of city administrators? Or is it made up of administrators, council, mayor? Or is it chamber, Main Street? Who is it that on early January of 2022 will be reevaluating the success, failures, loopholes?
Okay. So ultimately, the decision would be up to the council as to whether you want to continue it, change it, expand it, etc. Middletown was just in the paper today. They recently extended theirs for another 5 years, and then they expanded the boundaries. So they did an assessment, but it's the council that has to approve it. It's basically going through this process next January or February, based on the information that we give you. The we in giving you the information would involve not only the administration, but the street department staff, park department staff, because they will be in charge of monitoring and taking care of the trash, sanitation part of it. The police department, because they will be responsible for ensuring the safety within the boundaries. The business community, the liquor establishments, Troy Main Street. I think that's all of them. The chamber could have input as well, but it would be primarily Troy Main Street since it's downtown.
So is that collectively coming to administration, who then provides the information to council?
Ultimately, yes. And we will give you a report with a recommendation, and it would be another committee meeting.
There, just for clarification, because these were some of the bugaboos that I heard a lot of, there is no Sunday sales.
Correct.
And the time frame has been shrunk so that this isn't a breakfast till the sun comes up event.
Correct. It's noon to 10 those 3 days of the week.
And the last question I had concerns, it's kind of a question and then just talking. In light of the coronavirus issues, the shutdowns, the distancing, the effect that all of this is combined on our small business owners, is this DORA being developed to assist a small business person, or is it being used as a platform to just get the program?
I don't think they're mutually exclusive goals, but in this atmosphere, the feedback that we've gotten from the 20-some surveys that we received from other communities that have implemented the DORA is that particularly during this time frame, it has been a very key tool to keep people engaged in the DORA areas, which are primarily their downtowns, and that it's been much more effective because of the COVID atmosphere we're in getting people to come downtown and to be able to socially distance outside, so it's only been that much more positive of a program.
So to get them downtown in regards to alcoholic beverages and or food, that is a plus if it brings people down to use the DORA to then go to walk-in establishments.
Yes, it has been. But, I do want to stress that it's been a very effective tool according to the other survey communities. But it's just one more tool that the businesses, that the liquor establishments have had to keep a vibrant downtown, especially during the times we're in. Does that make sense?
Yes.
This is something that has started, Middletown's been in place for 5 years. So this is something that the state put together. This is not anything that the community put together. The state Liquor Control Board put this together for the communities. And communities have been using it for several years. So this was started, even the discussions in Troy started before COVID. So this is not a result of COVID. Will it be a plus because people can be outside? Yeah, sure. But Middletown's has been in place for 5 years. I don't know what other communities, how long they've had theirs. But it was started by the state as an offering to the community.
Chart in there somewhere.
Do we know
Yeah, we have.
developed?
The state developed it 5-7 years ago, and then they modified it. There are 56 DORAs around the state. Many of them started last year, and frankly, they started it as a way to counteract the COVID pandemic issue. We now have a lot of benches downtown, a lot more seating downtown. Anxious to see when the winter is over. I'm not going to predict when that is, but when people can get out, because I think it's really going to be a plus having all that seating. We've had some new business turnover. restaurant that's going in, so I think it's hopefully gonna be a vibrant downtown, more vibrant downtown, I should say.
Chuck? Okay. Mr. Chittering, I have a question on the map boundaries. When you look at the actual map that was drawn with the boundaries, we have a boundary touching 110 West Market Street. But that 110 West Market Street is not in,
West Market Street?
I'm sorry, not West Market, West Franklin Street, 110 West Franklin Street.
Okay.
The 110 West Franklin Street is not in the list of properties that's inside Dora. So just because the line touches the property does not mean it has to be included, or did we not draw the map correctly?
The map that you should have in your packet, we actually, per your suggestion, and I presented that to the work session,
On Doris,
we did move it in,
right, we're talking on West Water Street.
West Water.
We're talking about West
We're
Franklin
talking
Street,
West Franklin.
now by the First United Methodist Church. So the boundary touches the corner of 110 West Franklin Street. And so my question is does what, because the boundary touches 110 West Franklin Street, does that property have to be included in the list of properties that
It
is
will
within
not,
the Dora district?
it will not, and we will have signage that tells people, if you know, our parking lot, it's one way out onto Franklin Street. We will have signs there that say Dora District ends. So they're not going to be able to go onto the parking lot. Stops at the sidewalk.
We'll stop
Go
at
to
the
the
sidewalk,
corner, and
the
that's it.
corner,
And that's as far as it goes.
the corner of South.
So first place will be out, the parking lot will be out, across the street, the church will be out.
Totally out of it.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, now I have some comments as we think about this. I just want to read these off. The Dora should positively affect 14 businesses in the downtown district. These 14 businesses are all able to sell alcohol in Dora cups. They are classified as permit holders. These are some of the hardest hit businesses in the downtown over the last year or 15 months. And I think that, from that standpoint, I think we should consider Dora. As to the other businesses in the Dora district, the hours of operation of Dora will be Thursday through Saturday, 12 noon to 10 p.m. Most of these other businesses that are non-permit holders close at or around 5 o'clock, which means that they will be open for only 1/2 of the total hours that Dora is open during the Thursday through Saturday time period. And again, these are all daylight hours, so these businesses will be open during the daylight hours, and once it gets, obviously, darkness comes, and that's other things happen. And there's no indication that many of these businesses plan to expand hours of operation to try to take advantage of Dora. So essentially, the non-permit holders, or I think appear to be standing pat on this issue. Participation in Dora is controlled by signage. Some businesses are concerned that adults with Dora cups will enter their businesses and do damage to the business by spilling drinks or stumbling into things. Downtown businesses already control patronage by signs. No shirt, no shoes, no services. No firearms permitted. Masks required. No alcohol beyond this point. No smoking allowed. No food or beverages permitted in this store. The Dora signs that are available to the businesses are going to be just another way to control the patronage of their business. If a Dora adult enters a business and does damage, then the police can be called through 911 as part of our safety plan. And damages can be handled through civil court as it is done now. There have been concerns about over alcohol use or drunkenness in the Dora district. In the survey of the other businesses or the survey of the other cities that we have that have been presented to us with Dora, there have been few reports of alcohol problems. Children are affected by both positive and negative role models. An adult acting responsibly with alcohol can be a positive role model to children. On the other hand, anyone seeing poor behavior by an adult in the Dora district can and should call 911 and report the incident. Because again, the downtown is everybody's property. And if somebody's not behaving, then it's up to all of us to make sure that that behavior is reported. Trash has been another major concern. Trash is just not trash cans that need to be emptied. While trash is listed in Exhibit E under the documents provided, the city of Troy needs a plan of action in writing on how the city will handle brown litter throughout the Dora district. We had just got another a letter from somebody talking about, trash in and around their business, from the drinking that already goes on downtown that's not regulated. Paper wrappers and bottles and all this other stuff. And that's the type of trash that I think is the most irritating. It's not that the trash can is full, but again, it's the ground litter that if I were living downtown or had a business downtown, I wouldn't want to walk in there at 7 o'clock in the morning or get up to go to work at 7 o'clock in the morning and find Dora cups in my doorway or thrown in the yard or food wrappers, spread out, this type of thing. You just don't want that. And I think that the city needs a written plan. This plan should be in place and ready to be implemented before council votes on March 15th. Signage and trash cans alone are not the answer to ground litter. That's it.
So if I can address the two points that you bring up that I should have clarified earlier. So the Troy Main Street has monthly merchant meetings. They're not open to the public. They're just gatherings that they have to talk about issues. And at their next one, the police chief, as well as our certified trainer here at the arena, will be attending that meeting to talk about the safety plan, but also to answer any safety related questions. And Dave Kerr, who is our certified, he does the certified the bartender certifications for the nonprofit groups when they come through. He will be providing some training for especially the non-liquor establishments, the other businesses, what to look for, how to handle certain situations, and then of course ultimately if it does get to be a real big problem, just dial 911 and we'll be there.
Right.
So the fact that both of those will be on the Zoom call with the merchants, I think should be a very, very positive thing. As far as the sanitation plan, as you and I have talked before, we have park and street crews that on a just about a daily basis will be monitoring the trash, not just in the cans, but around. They're well aware of the issues, especially in the rec parking lot. You might recall a couple of years ago is when council passed an additional the budget to include an additional park laborer that would be partially dedicated to doing more downtown monitoring. That will be part of his job. Our street crews empty the big bellies about 2-3 times a week. So they will continue to do that. We will focus more intensely on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, actually the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Park employees are scheduled for hours Saturday and Sunday as well. And so that will be part of their routine assignment as they're going through and checking the parks and checking the restrooms. They will also be checking the cans and the areas around the cans and the litter as part of their routine.
Okay, I just got a couple of them, same as John, so we'll skip those. I just got a couple clarifications and curiosity one. When we started the pandemic, there was a time where if you got your dinner from Subhouse, Caroline, you could get 2 drinks to go. I know you can't walk around with those. Is that still in effect?
Yeah, I think they made that permanent.
Okay.
I don't think that's even an emergency thing anymore. I think they ended up, the legislature at the end of the year made that permanent.
And the door cups, you pour stuff in that, so do they change color or did it just?
Yeah, it's something in the plastic that changes when there's liquid in it, cold liquid in it.
Okay, when it's out, does it go back to the original color or does it
It'll
stay
fade
tape?
back, yeah, it'll fade back to, I don't know if it'll do it, but it eventually will fade back as it warms back up.
Okay. Would it be easier to monitor if it didn't?
No, we think it'll be easy to monitor if it did, because it's just one more possible indication. Even if it doesn't, then the bartenders will know to make sure that there's nothing in it, so they probably want to take a look at the cup.
And
Because the liquor establishments, they're still required and still responsible for all the rules, such as over-serving, such as IDs, and the DORA restrictions will be one that they will be well-versed in as well.
Yeah, you can see it start to fade.
Yeah, it'll eventually phase as it, of course.
it's just running back down the bottom.
So
And this
30
may
years
be
out.
an Andrea question. Do we have a number of that is firmly committed to being door friendly or plan to be door friendly?
I do not have that number, but I can get it and give it to you guys.
We're not aware of any of the liquor establishments
Well, I'm
that,
not saying liquor, I mean the other ones that might be benefiting.
oh, yeah,
The
we
other downtown
don't.
businesses.
I can think of about at least 5 or 6 that off the top of my head, but
I would say
not more.
a majority would participate. A majority of our like retail,
Yeah, if you got that information,
yeah, I
send
can
it,
get
be
that.
great.
And as far as the non-liquor establishments are concerned, we will hand out a green and a red 6-inch sticker. I think we're gonna go with the static cling ones that will cling to the back of a piece of glass. That way, there may be an event or there may be a case for whatever reason that they don't want to participate that particular night, they can just switch the sticker. They're allowed to do that. You're not committed for the whole year to either be green or red.
And those were mine. There was a couple that John covered that were people asked me to ask, and the only other one that I was asked to ask, I mean, pick them. But if you made it, they want to know if the mayor's made a public statement one way or the other on the door.
No. I'm not against it. The one thing when we started talking about it was I wanted to know if it was revocable, if we found that it didn't work. And so that was a big thing for me, that I wanted it to be reviewable and revocable.
Those are mine.
Based on
Council
what I've
members.
seen from other communities, I don't have any immediate concerns. I do have a question though.
Yes, ma'am.
So we had said that everybody entering a store or a bar or restaurant had to purchase a new cup every time, that these cups are not refillable.
Yes.
So people will have to, even if they're carrying that, they will have to purchase a new cup. These are not refillable.
Correct.
They're not even allowed to carry the cup in, are
They can carry the cup in as long as it's empty. Yeah, they're okay doing that. That's why the bartender needs to monitor it, and that's why we think having the color code, the color changing cups. And this way, these are substantial enough that, they're not gonna be throwaways.
I guess that's why I'm like,
Councilmember Twilliger and Schilling, you guys weren't here at the work session. We had continued to do research on the solo cups of the throwaways. Those are not, eligible to be recycled anymore. And so they
Those are-
definitely would have gone. These, I don't know if they're recyclable, but certainly somebody might not want to throw them out because they can be reused at home as, you know.
I guess that was
Regular
my
cups.
question for if it stays tainted or changed, even when it's empty, wouldn't that help the bartenders have to buy another cup at this establishment versus trying to sneak in the reusable one that's faded back to the clear?
Bartenders can't refill it.
I know, but I'm saying, if you get busy, the bartender, I don't know if it will happen or not, but I'm saying, if you've already had your drink from Leaf and Vine and you're down in Caroline, and they're getting busy, and you had your cup and you didn't toss it, and it's back to the normal.
They have to hand you a new cup. So
Okay.
there's literally no way they can refill
Okay,
it,
okay.
because they have to hand you a new one.
And the, I don't know about 100% of them, but the vast majority of the establishments in our downtown have servers at the front. And so they're gonna see you when you walk in. You're not immediately just gonna go to the bar. They, in the spring and summer weather, they will change back when they're empty a lot quicker than 36-degree weather. I mean, it feels like 45 in here.
As long as they got a method. As long as you got a method to handle it.
And next year, you know, this will be part of our monitoring. We may decide we don't like these, and if we do go forward with it in 2022, we may have a different model to follow.
But that was a question, are the cups recyclable? And no, they are not. Recycling won't take them. So
Even-
putting out,
Even these,
I think they said no cups.
The plastic, they have really reduced the plastic. I mean, you've got a triangle with, I believe, a number 5 on it, but they keep changing what's eligible by code. And it's not just national, it's international regulations because of who's accepting it and who won't anymore.
That was something we were interested in, was putting out recycling bins, but if they won't take them, they won't take them.
Are there any other council members, council persons out there who have a question or comment? Citizens, if so, you're welcome to do so. Just give us your name and address.
Good evening, my name is Andrea Keller. I'm the Executive Director with Troy Main Street, located at 405 Southwest Public Square. To answer your question, Mr. Rizzo, I do have 20 businesses I know for sure that are interested in participating. I counted them up really quickly, but I will get you a more exact number. I would like to once again express Troy Main Street's support of the DORA. As stated previously, we've been encouraged by Heritage Ohio to pursue a DORA for years. Like Mayor Otis said, they've been encouraging us to do that, and they are a statewide preservation organization from whom we receive our annual national accreditation each year as a Main Street program. Our downtown businesses have also shared with us ways that the DORA would benefit them, and we'd like to share a few of those with you. Lindsay Woodruff from Pachamama Market wrote in her letter, with the addition of a DORA to our downtown, guests to our community would be encouraged to not only visit in the evenings, but to stroll around and explore all our downtown has to offer after 6 p.m. With this increased foot traffic, more businesses would be encouraged to stay open later, leading to increased sales for our struggling local businesses. Liz Smith from Poppin' Off wrote a letter and wrote, I foresee possible collaborations with fellow businesses to pair DORA cocktails with Poppin' Off snacks that people could enjoy together. And then Amanda Gibson and Dwayne Williams from BU Boutique wrote, since the last initiative to get the DORA passed, we have taken time to visit other communities offering DORA and have spoken to small shop owners in regard to the impact DORA has had on their business. We've been seeking out the positive and the negative, and what we have found is positivity, fun, family, and community. We found happy, supportive business owners who have seen a significant increase in foot traffic along with increased sales. Personally, we haven't witnessed any issues with while out enjoying drinks in the DORA areas, and have really enjoyed our time spent there. I've also received a letter this week from Leanne Stewart, who's the Executive Director of Miami County Visitors and Convention Bureau, and they were expressing their support for the DORA as well. I've provided a copy of that to each of you, and Leanne writes, the Miami County Visitors and Convention Bureau is fully supportive of the City of Troy and Troy Main Street's plan to implement a DORA in downtown Troy. The DORA will attract more people to events happening in our downtown area and keep them downtown longer. It will increase foot traffic in our small businesses, resulting in increased revenue, and it helps our businesses serve more customers during a time when physical distancing and safety is still a concern for many. The following downtown businesses have expressed their support for DORA, and some of them are in attendance tonight to express their support again. They are Rio Juicery, Trojan City Music, Agave and Rye, Muller Brew Barn, Samos Reme, Studio 14 Creative Arts Center, Ruby's Beauty Salon, Echo Boutique, Leaf and Vine, Submarine House, Village Salon, The Caroline, David Fair on the Square, Expressions of the Home, BU Boutique, Pachamama, and Poppin' Off. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Andrea. Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Janine Sadler. I also am from Troy Main Street, 405 Southwest Public Square. I'm just here to read a letter on behalf of one of our business owners. Dear Troy City Council, my name is Allison Fullenkamp, and I am Samos Reme. My business has been located in downtown Troy for 12 years. During that time, I have watched our town grow and flourish. I believe the DORA is one more way we can allow people to experience our unique downtown community, and I fully support this program. I also believe the DORA will continue to expand the ways our community interacts with our businesses. This program is a tool that can expand the ambiance and encourage participation in date nights, downtown and in-store events, Friends Night Out, and more. I have no doubt that the DORA will be beneficial to my business and downtown Troy. Thank you, Allison Fullenkamp, owner of Samos Reme. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dee Mahan, 832 Cobblestone Drive. I'm also the president of the Troy Main Street Board. I have one of our businesses downtown who was with us last time, but she asked me to read another letter because she said this letter serves as their continued support for DORA. They attended the last meeting and there was overwhelmingly positive evidence presented to support a successful implementation to the city of Troy. As a small business, we are reliant on the continued support of patrons, and a DORA program would not only drive activity to the downtown, it would keep patrons actively engaged in the wonderful shops we offer. Please allow the DORA program to move forward and see what great things it can bring to the city of Troy. Dawn and Mark Spoltman, they are owners of Studio 14 Creative Arts Center.
Thank you, Dee. Others? Just thank you.
My name is John Henry. I'm the owner of Trojan City Music at 106 East Main Street. I was here at the February 8th meeting and spoke out in support, and I'm here to speak out in support again. I do have two questions, though, if that's appropriate at this time. I heard the idea of clean stickers. I'm a second floor business, and a clean sticker would not work for my front Main Street entrance, just to throw that out for whatever that's worth. And then also, and this is just my own curiosity, is it a health reason that they can't be refilled? That the cups that you're gonna, is there a health code that says they can't be refilled?
It's a part of the state code.
Part of the
It's
state
what the
code.
legislature passed.
Gotcha. I was just curious
Could be
about that.
health related, I don't know, it's the law.
Sure. But again, Trojan City Music wholeheartedly supports it. We would, we don't serve alcohol. We are open during some of the hours that they are proposing. And we do offer, once we're past restrictions, we do offer some kind of evening open to the public music events as well. And I can't think of anything that would be a more positive influence for it. Thank you very much.
Hi, Connor Heron, 2 East Main, Heron's Market. as we discussed a little bit up here, 2020 was a difficult and interesting year for small businesses. This DORA program is more or less, it's, you know, all I've ever done is be a business owner in my life. So I look at everything from a business perspective, and from a business perspective and economically, this DORA program is a no-brainer. We've heard some of the cons that could be presented to our downtown by implementing this DORA. From listening to Mr. Titterton, it seems like we've addressed those, and we have plans in place to address some of the issues that this could potentially bring to our downtown. I don't see this as doing anything but getting people out and about and moving. This is going to benefit, I think, more than anything, some of the small businesses in downtown that do not serve alcohol, as opposed to a patron of a bar or restaurant sitting in that bar or restaurant and drinking. This is going to encourage them to get out and get into some of those businesses that do not sell alcohol and just get people out and moving. If there was ever a COVID-friendly policy, this is it. Again, the Herons Market supports this. I think this is a great way to get people to downtown Troy and get them out and get them moving into all of the businesses in downtown Troy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Beth Kerber, 15 South Market Street. I'm the owner of the Three Weird Sisters and also a Troy Main Street board member. I wanted to come out and show my support for the DORA. There's a couple things that came to mind when we were talking about this. We had the MKSK study done, and one of the recommendations that they made was a DORA. And it was basically, they looked at Troy to see what we were missing, and we were losing a lot of revenue to places like the Green and Columbus. People are traveling out of town to go to places because they have better hours. And if we were to have this, people wouldn't have to leave. We would have a lot more couples coming downtown for date nights and bringing their families downtown. I think it would just bring more people out, more foot traffic, and to address the issue of stores not being open later. A lot of times when we stay open, we lose the parking in front for the restaurants. So it doesn't make sense. We've tried it. We've tried longer hours, but it was not really beneficial if you're only one store doing it. But this would encourage stores to keep their hours later to meet the popular demand. So I think if we at least try this, we'll see what works and we can look at the benefits. If it's not working for us, we don't have to do it again. But due to the recommendations, I think we should give it a shot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kevin Cooney. I'm the general manager at 2 North Market Street, Agave and Rye. I just want to put it out there that we are 100% behind this, not only for the obvious reasons, but for what it could do for the community, what we've seen it do in other communities that we're a part of, how it generates so much buzz for the area and creates extra foot traffic and extra people coming down to the area to see what the town has to offer. So we're very much behind this. Thank you.
Thank you. Others? Ladies first.
Kelly Snyder, Executive Director of the Troy Rec. Odd man out here. It's not that I'm opposed, and I do appreciate what the city has done to address the issues of the trash. I think it's a much better plan than the original. I am curious about the new cups, how that will turn out, because I do think people will be more likely to hold on to them, maybe as a souvenir kind of thing, and so they won't be tossed everywhere. So I am cautiously optimistic, I guess, that it would work. But I guess we haven't really talked much about one of my other concerns, which was, the youth that are going to be downtown that come to the rec every day, that, they're going to see people walking around and they have older brothers, they have siblings, they have friends that are older that can go into an establishment and purchase a cup
and come out and walk around. And so I am concerned about the, I guess, policing of that. If someone who is old enough to purchase then hands it off to one of our young youth that's not old enough. Haven't really heard that touched on much. So still not 100% in favor, but I do appreciate the adjustments that have been made. And I hope that maybe this is something for the police, that they will be monitoring that a little more closely, particularly around 3 o'clock in the afternoon when kids are flooding across the bridge and coming into the wreck. This year with COVID, we have not allowed them in and out privileges. If they're in, they're in. If they leave, they're done for the day. So, but that won't stop them from, drinking if someone offers it to them. And then truthfully, if they're not coming back in, we can't monitor that then. So I hope that is something that is on the radar for the police and for council and for the city to observe and at least be concerned about. Thank you.
And Kelly, I would assume you would keep your eyes and ears open and let us know.
Well, obviously, yeah. I mean, when this first came up, my initial reaction was, who do I call when the first kid walks in drunk? Who wants to give me their number? Because yeah, so,
Got that very point.
yeah. But I mean, I'm hopeful it won't happen. But I do hope that that's on the radar for the city and the police. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Brian Begg, co-owner and operator of the Bakehouse downtown, 317 Public Square Southwest. We are fully in support of this. We typically only stay open after 5 during special events, First Fridays, Donut Jam, things of that nature, but I have been wanting to open up later on Fridays and Saturdays, and this will definitely be a motivator for that. We don't see any real issues as far as really anything. I mean, there are going to be issues, but I think they're going to be the same issues you have anywhere that people are drinking. Whether they can drink out on the sidewalk or drink inside a business, doesn't really matter. Yeah, we're in full support of it.
Thank you. Others? Okay.
So Tony Small, 40 Carriage Crossing Way in Troy. Lived in Troy for 50 plus years. I've visited 2 Dora districts in my time, most recently and mostly of all the Dayton Dora district. And really all it's done for me and my wife and friends, we go down, you can walk around, go in the shops, visit them. I've never seen anything negative happen in the Dora. It's a very controlled area. And I think Troy would control it better than Dayton ever could. I also was here when we had the Mumford and Sons, and that was a big concert and a big thing for Troy. And I would think that this would give somewhat of a little buzz of that. We controlled that very well, and there were a lot of people here. So I'm in support of the door and think we ought to put it in.
Thank you. Who else has got that last urge of courage? None? Okay. How would you like that? Move forward?
I think we should move forward and give council, all of council, an opportunity to consider this.
Okay. I also feel we should move forward. Those who have worked on it, I think have done a good job on improving, gleaning, and obviously improving the program. So we will move forward with this. It's not emergency.
When you say move forward with positive recommendation?
Correct, that's the. Anything else to be brought before this committee?
No, sir.
We're adjourned then.